It is not a backup. Hello guys. It's been about a year since I published my very first video on this channel, and I thought it'd be a good time to take you guys on a bit of a tour of what equipment I've used in that time to make videos. Some of you might remember my first video that really made it big, the Raspberry Pi thin client for Proxmox VMs on the famous blue table. That video was filmed almost entirely using this. It's a Logitech 1080p webcam for streaming. It was less than $100. But this is how I got my start. I'm sure you guys can tell from the videos of that era, the quality was not great. But it got me going. I used this to record a number of videos that I was generally relatively happy with the content at the time. It left a little to be desired, but it's where I started. This is also where I started. Logitech C290, I think? What are you? It's a really cheap webcam, literally one of the cheapest. I bought it for my 3D printer, and the lens didn't have a wide enough angle. This is what I used for a long time when doing screen capture sessions. If you've ever seen me in the corner with a little orange outline around me, there's a decently good chance it was filmed on this camera. And even now, I still film those with this camera. So these two cameras really represent where it started for my YouTube channel. I also had a headset with a gaming microphone, and the sound quality was pretty awful, so some of my early videos were narrated with that. Push these aside in the timeline of Appleard's adventures. These two iPhones represent my first upgrade. This is an iPhone XR, this is a first-gen iPhone SE. I still use these regularly for shots. In fact, in one of my recent videos about the HP microserver, you can see this iPhone SE off on the side on a little tripod. I use it for close-up shots, kind of hold it around. This one I used for a long time as well as my main camera. And honestly, if you have a phone with a good camera, it's probably your best bet if you don't want to spend a lot of money to get into YouTube. The video quality from this is pretty good. The audio quality is not bad, but it leaves some to be desired. This particular phone has a broken microphone. It's actually the reason I upgraded from the SE to the XR. So obviously I couldn't use the SE all the time, but I did like it. The XR had a pretty good microphone, and I used this for actually quite a long time. So this would be the next era of video production. Little phone stand and two different phones I have to choose from. This is my daily driver phone. So I use it for video production as well. The first real big upgrade I felt like I got, aside from the video quality improvements of shooting on iPhones, was my first real microphone. This is a Rode VideoMic Go 2. It has a 3.5mm out as well as a USB-C, and they make a special cable to go from USB-C to Lightning directly. I have a whole video where I talk about making this 3D printed mount for it so it can sit on a table, because it's designed to use a cold shoe, which is a pretty common mounting adapter in professional photography and videography, but my iPhones obviously aren't professional. They don't have that. So I made a little bracket. I could sit it down on a table. I could clip it on the back of my monitor next to my webcam, and it sounded great. And sound quality makes a big difference in video production. Video is important too, but don't underestimate the importance of good sound. So when I started using this, I was hauling it upstairs and downstairs all day to use it for both voiceover recordings of tutorials along with the webcam and shooting live along with the iPhone. I would plug it into the iPhone, get it all set up, go. And that worked pretty well, but I found a number of issues with this microphone, specifically for live filming. I was mainly putting it on the table facing myself. And that's fine, but every time I touch the table working on something, that noise gets transmitted back to the microphone. That's not a problem you'd have if you had a camera set up on a tripod away, but for my use case, it wasn't ideal. The other thing is that this is a pretty directional microphone. It has to be facing at the subject to work. And sometimes I'd move around a lot and the audio levels would get a bit off. A third problem I had was that my phone battery can't last forever while recording. I've had sessions where I've had the phone recording for 45 minutes straight, and if I can't plug it in during that time, it's not super happy, especially the older one. and this used my only lightning jack. So now I use the Rode video mic for all of my voiceover and all of my screen cap, along with the webcam. So here's the next evolution of Appleard's adventures. So I'm sure some of you have seen this in videos already, and I've actually been wearing it for this entire video, but this is my latest microphone set. It's a DJI video mic. Comes with 2 wireless transmitters. I'm wearing one and I got one here. Each transmitter can record for 7 hours, I think 7 hours, 14 hours. Each transmitter can independently transmit to a receiver. The receiver has a USB-C. It's got little things that you can plug into it, little adapters to plug in for USB-C or Lightning. If you use Lightning, you only get a mono output, which is not ideal. If you use USB-C, you get stereo. And you can either choose to have a mix of the 2 microphones mixed down with 2 different levels. So one is recorded with a lower level in case it peaks. Or you can record each microphone as a left or right channel. And if you plug this into your PC, it just shows up as a microphone with left and right channels. It's super easy to work with. It's got nice meters here on the receiver. It has a mount that can plug into a cold shoe if you have a nice camera that has a cold shoe or a hot shoe. And it'll sit on top of the camera and show you the levels. And it's got an analog output and a headphone output if you want to hook it up to a camera. Now, despite this being a wireless mic set, I initially used it with Lightning into my phone, and I very quickly found that that was unnecessary. So each of these little microphone packs can record audio on its own, and that's designed as a backup. So if you're interviewing someone, you have 2 microphones, me and you, we each have our own microphone. They're both transmitting to the camera records it, and the microphone also records it. For me, it's easier just to let the microphone record it and sync it later. So that's what I do now. I do the clap clap, and the camera records its own audio, the phone records its own audio, the microphone records its own audio, no cables, nothing. Don't even have to bother with the receiver. It just works. And honestly, I love this microphone set. I've been very happy with it. The sound quality is notably improved over my past setups, and highly recommend. But that still left me filming with the iPhone. So that's where the next upgrade to Appleard's Adventures comes in. For that, I got to change out the camera you're looking at me with. This guy. A very kind viewer named Alex sent this my way, and I've been getting to know how to use it. This is a Nikon D750. To be honest, this is a lot of camera for me. I know it's not the most modern, but I've been learning how to use it as I go through with video production. As I said, I'm still using the iPhones, especially for side angles and for places where it's hard to get the big tripod into. And this camera also has a narrower field of view with this lens than the iPhones do, so sometimes I mix and match them. But I've been mixing this camera into videos, and hopefully the difference hasn't been bad. I'm not great on getting this thing focused yet. It's much more picky, obviously. You have to know how to use it. But I'm getting there. I'm learning it. As you can see, I have a battery simulator for this, so I don't have to use batteries when I'm in the studio, which is great because the battery lasts less than half an hour when filming. Got a giant micro SD card, and this records to giant files with nice and high quality that I love to see in editing. My storage needs are going up drastically every time I make a move like this. This is the D750. This is what my newest videos have been filmed on, some of them. And this is the camera that I'm using going forward. So here is the progression of Appleard's Adventures. So as always, I appreciate all of you who watch my videos and like my content. It really helps to keep me going. So thanks, and I'll see you on the next adventure. There we go.